What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here again. Well, I am back here again. Of course, everyone knows the drill. Mic check, mic check. Mic 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You guys don't know me. Coach Jay, aka Garrett, aka Coach Jance Sports in the building. You guys can see my, well, of course, we got to make a shout out to a quick member, Pierre. He just became a member. So, like I said, I don't know how long ago that was, but I'm making that shout out anyway. But you guys can see my Twitter handle, Jant716, YouTube, Jant Sports. If you guys want to see more content from me, of course, we got the NFL stuff going on. I'm going to be doing a premiere live stream mock, probably either going to be tomorrow or the day of the draft. So definitely make sure to kind of check me out there. But before we begin, let me make my shout outs. Let's get the shout outs going. So this was a little bit earlier, but I see Bama. I see what we got. We got Bro Size Nights. We Home Bama 24. Cynthia the Great Middleton. Living Like Larry Large in the building. What else we got? Kimberly. Great Sister Harmon. Mike G in the building. Antonio Snell. Right? See Antonio Snell. I'm not going to forget you. Let's see what we got. We got Davin Jones in the building. Run the Table Sports TV, Joseph Davidson, Anthony Roberts, Mike G. Well, I just said Mike G, but just in case, Mike G absolutely deserves that. Adam Watson. Let's see, we got Jermaine. I'm still gonna mention that John M. one more time. What's going on, brother? So like I said, we're filling in the seats. We're filling in the seats. But what's going on with you guys? We got around 68 people. You guys know what to do. Make sure to run up the like. Make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed. Also think about becoming a Bama member. Just again, if you want to support the coaches, support Kyle, support everyone that's a part of the Bama football on YouTube staff. Highly would greatly appreciate it. Ryan Wingo, what's going on, Ryan? But got some things to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. At least, of course, some earlier panel was able to kind of cover it, but just in case, I'm gonna do like a quick recap of some of the things that kind of went down. So, transfer portal news that's going on for us right now. Football related, it's not that much of a difference. I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, we got Ed Wood, safety or slash corner from Arizona State. He's gonna be making his visit to Alabama pretty soon. Of course, we got Clifford Omoruyi. Again, I'm gonna literally mispronounce that, but I swear if he comes here, I'm calling him Clifford the big red dog. He's Clifford the redneck dog, but Clifford again, I'm not gonna pronounce it. I'm just gonna absolutely butcher the name. But there's a center from Rutgers, very very good center, top 10 overall player, portal player for college basketball. He's gonna be making his official visitation to the University of Alabama this weekend. But Alabama is right now one of the favorites to potentially land this target. Of course, Alabama also, I think, is expecting a visitor from Kentucky, right? We got the Kentucky forward, more of a Nigerian player. Kentucky forward, kind of one of more of their depth pieces, rotational pieces. He is also going to be visiting Alabama as well. So that's some good news from Alabama. Of course, Latrell Whiteside Jr. Is making his return. He's going to be coming back and staying for his senior year. I believe he's a fifth-year player, but he's going to be coming back. Of course, not all good news. We had, of course, Mohamed Wade. He's right for the most part. He entered the transfer portal. So one of the things that I'm starting to see from Alabama basketball is I don't know if Alabama is forcing players to leave, but I can tell you this, man. Like Rylan Griffin, you saw his tweets a little bit earlier. He still is staying in contact with a lot of his Alabama brethren. The same thing like Sam Walters. So I don't know if we're pushing these players out, but I do know that a lot of the roster spots are a lot more limited, especially with the recruiting class that is coming in. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if, some players were just kind of asked to leave, or maybe they were just, their role was pretty much going to be reduced. So, yeah, Alabama's got a couple of visitations over the weekend for basketball purposes. Of course, everyone knows football-wise, we have, for the most part, Ed Woods will be visiting with the University of Alabama to see what's going to happen there. Besides that, though, nothing much has kind of gone on in terms of Alabama. Of course, Mohamed Wade, like I said before, he is also entering the transfer portal from a basketball standpoint. So Yeah, if we can get this Rutgers center, that would be big. One of the key things that's kind of been missing for Alabama's basketball team has been a key center, right? And like I said, we had one before that was 7 foot tall, but he didn't really make that big of an impact, especially like around the rim. Just didn't really make that much of a big impact. We need a guy that offensively can dominate in the interior, and we need somebody that can also be a rim protector in the interior as well. We need somebody that can do that, not just get forwards that are stretch bigs, and that's are pretty much going to be outside of the paint. We need guys that can dominate in front of that rim, because you look at the UConn game, that is a perfect UConn is a perfect example of what happens when you don't really have somebody that can control the paint. When you're not shooting that well, you can get punished. And we got absolutely obliterated in the interior. So we'll see if we can land him. But Bama's basketball team, for the most part, guys, the roster is extremely talented. They're getting a lot more deeper. And I think in a way, we are forcing some of these kids to kind of leave, not because they're bad or anything like that, but I think just because we simply want to upgrade a particular position. And so we'll kind of see what happens. Again, Riley Griffin was kind of one of those players that I really wanted to come back. I loved his leadership, loved his defensive approach. Also was a solid 3-point shooter. Control right side for the most part. Him coming back as a 5th year, that's going to be big for this team. But we'll see. We'll see if we can try to upgrade, get more talented, get bigger, get stronger there, and in these certain positions, because we absolutely need it. We absolutely need it. Right, yeah, you got to make room for the transfers. Yeah, that's what they've been saying. Yeah, got to make room for the transfers. Got to make room for it. And you can tell that Riley Griffin, you can tell he wanted to stay, right? He is still tweeting out, he's in contact with his brothers. He's always mentioning his teammates or former teammates. You can tell he's in love with Alabama sports. He's in love with this team. But at the end of the day, man, I think basketball is more of a business, I would say, more than football, right? Because you would see players literally get forced out of there. And football-wise, it happens too, right? A lot of Colorado fans are claiming that that's what they're doing right now in Colorado, that they're just forcing a bunch of players out so they can bring a bunch of players right back in. But basketball, again, it's a much more limited roster, and so you got to make smart roster management moves in order for you to field a team that could potentially compete for a national championship. It's not about what you do in the regular season. It's not about what you do in these conference tournaments, right? At the end of the day, it's about making March Madness, about making that tournament, and how far you can advance. And you have to try to field as much as a complete team, as deep as a team as possible, in order for you to not only compete for a national championship, but to win a national championship, right? Alabama was able to experience going to a Final Four for the first time in their program's history. Now it's about taking that next step and eventually not just getting to the national championship, but making it. And so far, we have made the moves necessary. Regardless of how we feel about certain players leaving, we're starting to kind of make the moves necessary in order to potentially get to that next step and compete for a championship. Someone says Riley could have stayed. I was trying to rebuild the basketball team. Yeah, yep, absolutely, Kimberly. He's trying to rebuild. He is trying to absolutely rebuild there. And like I said, getting that Rutgers center will be big. That'll be big. You got to get somebody that can control the paint. Somebody who can control and dictate that paint. You got to get somebody that can do it on both sides of the ball. That UConn game pretty much showed Alabama's weakness. It pretty much described Alabama's weakness the last 4 to 5 years since they kind of been this program. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, we got 3 players that have entered the portal, and we're just making more room to see if we can get more players available on this roster. Like I said, in terms of football, not that much really going on. If we want to take a look at some of the biggest transfer news that happened today, yeah, Colorado's team is absolutely just I don't know what the hell's going on with Colorado. They're at their last. I don't know. It's starting to really turn to last chance university. 39 players have entered the portal. 39, and 26 of these players during the spring window. So they lost 39 players, but they've also brought in 33 players. So they lost some big impactful guys. The biggest one I think definitely was Dylan Edwards. He was their leading rush. He was one of their leading rushers. Matter of fact, they lost two of their top running backs. They lost their two top running backs. One of them was a lower Division I school. Matter of fact, he came from Jackson State, where he had over 1,100 yards. Transferred to Colorado to see if he could be the RB1. Ended up being, I believe, the RB2 of the team. Dylan Edwards actually ended up being that guy, and Dylan Edwards had a hell of a season as a true freshman, especially the first game where he made a hell of an impact against TCU. TCU and Nebraska made big impactful plays, and now he's out. So I don't know what the hell's going on over there so far, but yeah, 39 players that are leaving. I mean, over 100 players over the last couple of years. It's been a mess, but it is what it is. Colorado fans, they'll tell you, man, that they're fine and they're gonna continue to dominate. What do you think about Curtis Perry entering the transfer portal? Coach Mook said a little bit earlier. Curtis Perry's he's a death piece. I hate to say it, but he's a death piece. He's talented, right? Top 100 player. Top 100 player. I just got that text from Taylor. But top 100 player. He's a solid dude for the most part. A lot of talent, 4-star, but he's a death piece. I'm very, very confident in this Alabama depth chart. Very, very confident in the defensive line of this group. They're young, but I don't know. I don't think Curtis Perry is a guy that was going to find his way in the rotation. And this is kind of what I said a little bit earlier, guys, was that the spring window, it's all about finding where you stand at this point, right? Because coaching staffs are stable. A lot of these, there's not going to be a lot of huge particular changes that's going to go on. So it's just all about where a player stands. And I think with Curtis Perry, I think he found out. I don't think he's going to compete for the job. I seriously don't. I think at this point, Curtis Perry is going to be in a deep rotation to a point where I just don't know if he's going to find himself on the field that often. And I think at this point in Curtis Perry's career, he wants to compete for a chance to get on the field. And so this was kind of more of a business class for him, more of a business decision. And in a way, it creates more room for Alabama's scholarship. It creates more room. And, we'll see if Alabama is able to kind of go out there and see if they can try to target somebody because of it. But other than that, I mean, like I said, best of luck to Curtis Perry. Again, hell of a talent. Hopefully he can land somewhere that he can get on the field. But at Alabama, I just don't think that he just was able to find himself on that field. The portal giveth, and the portal, yep, that's a perfect summary. That's a perfect summary right there. The portal giveth, and the portal taketh. Oh, let me respond. But yep, that's a perfect response by Jarvis. The portal giveth and the portal taketh. I'm trying to think what else was happening as far as some big news that was kind of going on the transfer portal. Oh God. Yeah, Louisville, they're down the crapper. Louisville's down the crapper. Tyler Barron. And Tyler Barron has been to 3 different schools in less than man, it's crazy. 3 different schools in 4 months. He's now about to enter the transfer portal again, going to his 4th school. And now that the NCAA has kind of cleared that you can pretty much transfer wherever the hell you want without any sort of consequence, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these Tyler Barrons, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to start seeing a lot more of these players that are going to just be entering the transfer portal because they don't like the situation that they're in, and they're going to transfer more than 4 to 5 times. I mean, seriously. Kyle Ford, he just left USC, went to UCLA, went back to USC, went back to UCLA, and now he's going back to USC. He's been going back and forth for the last couple of years since the portal market. 6-year player. This is the part of college football, ladies and gentlemen, that we simply just got to get adjusted to. But yeah, you got this Tyler Barron situation that's kind of going on right now, and Kenny Bone is the similar situation. 3rd school in 2 months. It is kind of what it is there. Terence Brooks, cornerback. I do want to kind of talk about Terence Brooks because I like Terence Brooks. Now, Ty Hayes, he'll tell you a little bit about Terence Brooks. Talented player, former 5-star recruit, according to Rivals and On 3. For the most part, didn't really get on the football field. For the most part. But when he did, he made use of his opportunities. He was more of a rotational piece right? Terence Brooks was one of those guys. He's more of a hybrid player, kind of somebody that can play a little bit in the nickel, but also can play as a boundary. And he had 3 interceptions. Matter of fact, I believe Terence Brooks, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, he was actually one of the players that picked off Jalen Miro, right? Almost took it back to the house. Could be wrong about that. You guys can fact check me on that. But this is a player that I did watch him a little bit, right? Had around 3 interceptions. And again, you're talking about 5-star quality. One of the things that we kind of talk about, guys, is when we're looking at the transfer portal or the transfer market, we're not just looking for depth particular pieces, even though that is that's a crucial part in terms of building up your rosters, that you want to try to find some quality depth, but you also want to find, if you're going in the transfer portal and you're using up one of these scholarships, I want to get guys that can try to get on the field as soon as possible, as fast as possible. And Terence Brooks is one of those guys. Similar situation to a Tacario Falls, very similar to a Tacario Falls or a Hamlin. He's one of those guys, ladies and gentlemen, that can find his way on the football field. Now, Alabama's cornerback depth room is kind of solid, right? With Jalen Mbakwe. You also have Damani Jackson that can potentially fight. Me and Coach we talked about this time. If they really wanted to try to fill something, you can potentially transition Red Morgan all the way down to playing as a boundary guy if you really want to. But you do have some pieces at that corner room that could find their way on the field. You just don't really have the depth like your safety room has it. But Terence Brooks can provide value, and I mean some value that he could potentially find as well on the field. So that was one of those. That was kind of one of those situations, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm like, you know what? I like this move. If Alabama is somehow, some way, let's say they just can't get Edwards, or maybe he's not the right player or the right fit for them. You could try to make that transition, ladies and gentlemen, and you can find a way to try to get a Terence Brooks. I'm just kind of putting it out there. Let's see, who else? Well, besides Curtis Perry, let's see, you got Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon is also kind of one of those guys that's interesting. Auburn and Oregon is after him in the transfer portal. I don't think we really need defensive line help, but let's see. Derek Morgan, interesting player, very, very interesting player from Michigan State. I watched him a little bit. Solid contributor for his team. More of a rotational piece for Michigan State, but still, you got a lot of interest from Auburn and Oregon. Very interested to see what's going on with there. Rashad Amos, very, very talented player. Very, very talented, guys. Rashad Amos, very, very talented. Of course, we're going to ignore Rashad Amos because he's a running back. But for the most part, guys, not that much. Not that much has kind of gone on. You actually seen a lot of transfers, but just players that I just don't think we're going to take a step at. John Emery Jr., 5-star, former 5-star. He's literally going to be a 6-year player for them. I don't think we're going to ignore him. But yeah, besides that, though, you got some interesting players. Like you got I think his name is Chris Wayne. Let me fact check. I don't want to mess the kid's name up. I think what's his name? Wayne something. I don't know. It's Wayne something. I don't know. Might have been Reggie Wayne. I don't know. But yeah, it was a former 5-star. Chris Wayne came out of IMG Academy, top 100 player. We'll see what kind of happens. And then Will Norman. Will Norman's a very interesting player, but again, SEC, Florida, it is what it is. So we're probably going to have to ignore that as well. If we get a receiver, it needs to be E.J. Horton from Virginia Tech. I like E.J. Horton. a lot. Honestly, I think we're good at receiver. I think we're good at receiver. I don't think that I think we're good in terms of trying to build some depth at that receiver position. I think we're good. And it's more so I'm confident with the receiving class that's coming in. I like Amari. I like Rico. I like Ryan Williams. They provide excellent value and quality. They provide excellent in quality that's coming up. They do provide some quality. So I'm pretty confident in that. Amari Jefferson hitting bombs. I wonder what he'll do on the field. Yeah. He actually looks pretty impressive for baseball. He looks actually pretty damn impressive for baseball. But give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 quick second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, guys. Had to let the dog out. I'll say I had to let the dog out. So normally my dog, when she wants to pee, she literally will she'll literally just keep tapping my leg. She'll try to jump, just tap my leg, and just I can tell. I had to let her out. Let her out. Now she's gonna have to stand outside for the rest of the day because normally she likes to kick the door and bring all muddy. That's not gonna happen. So she's gonna have to pee and she's gonna have to deal with it. Stand outside for 40 more minutes. But what was I talking about? I don't know. I just read the chat. Jaden Wayne, that's his name. Thank you, Jaden Wayne. Jaden Wayne from Miami. Kept trying to get that wrong, Jaden Wayne. Would have rather seen Tim Smith in the portal than Curtis Perry. Yeah. Listen. I get it. Like some people are starting to get tired of Tim Smith. Some people are starting to get tired of Tim Smith because they don't like the inconsistency, right? Like you can tell that Tim Smith has a high ceiling. But the motor just isn't there. Curtis Perry, I think, is the opposite, where he has motor, but still has more rawness. Like I think Tim Smith is a more polished, more refined player, but just doesn't really carry the same motor that Curtis Perry does. And Curtis Perry, who's more slimmer, he is strong, he's more explosive, but a little bit more raw. At least going into this thing than Tim Smith. But I get it. I understand why people would kind of want Curtis Perry to stay. Because they do see the upside, and they see that if he can just get coached up and just have that same refinement that Tim Smith was able to kind of have, that Curtis Perry could be a much more dangerous player. But it is what it is at this point, guys. Like I said, I like the depth that we kind of have right now on the defensive line in terms of guys like Tim Keenan, right? We still got Jaheim Otis, right? You have James Smith that I think can step up to the limelight. I think that for the most part, our defensive line does have some depth, right? We also have to include like an LT Overton that also has to be included into that mix. You need to get a Jeremiah Beeman. Just guys that for the most part that I think can step up and just overall just try to go up there and contribute. Like, hell, I even like Latham. Like Latham has had a pretty good spring camp, very, very good spring camp. But honestly, are we gonna go back to 2015, 2016 Bama where we were like 4 or 5 deep loaded on the defensive line? Maybe not so, and maybe losing Curtis Perry, it doesn't really help the issue. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. Like I'm pretty confident in this defensive line unit that they can get better. And again, we were particularly young. Like, yes, you lose Justin McBoygby, who was the only big defensive lineman that you kind of lose. But other than that, you pretty much retain a lot of that depth and a lot of that youth that can gain a lot more experience and potentially contribute for your team. Let's see. I'd rather lose with right. And this is Steven. This is something that I said. This is something I talked about with Coach Mook, and I think Coach Mook even agreed is at this point, if we can't get guys like if we can't get a Tarko Falls or if we can't get the Holloman kid from Wisconsin, I'm ready to ride the ship. I'm ready to ride the ship with our young guys, right? Because we don't need to go undefeated. Right, I think a lot of people, and again, I was in an engagement with somebody on Twitter about this. We don't need to go undefeated. I think we're still stuck with that mindset of we lose a game and that literally can ruin our chances of going to the college football playoffs, or we need to win the SEC in order for us to get to the college football playoffs. I think we're still stuck on that mindset. And again, I understand it because it's so fast, right? Trying to make that transition. We're now in an era where players can go and transfer to wherever the hell they want to transfer without any sort of penalty. We're now in the era where we're now about to be in a 12-team playoff, and sooner or later, we're about to be in a 14-team playoff. right? Conferences have changed. It's now a Power 4 conference instead of a Power 5 conference, and sooner or later it's going to be a Power 2 conference. So people are just, they're not susceptible to change. But for the most part, guys, this is just kind of the way it is, right? You don't need to win. You don't need to go undefeated. It'll be great. It'll be nice to go undefeated, but you can lose 2 or 3 games, especially in the SEC conference, and you can get inside the college football playoff. So in a way, I would rather get our young guys to go in there, right? Go through their struggles, right? Because like I said before, guys, even though that, and to be fair, I've been impressed with a lot of these young guys that have played anyway. But still, you would expect a lot of these young guys to go through their hurdles, right? Sooner or later get burnt out. But if we can bank on the fact that if we can get into late in the season, or if we can get inside the playoffs at a 9-3 or 10-2 record, that's a win for us. That's a major win for us, because that's not thinking about this season. That's thinking about the next 2 to 3 years, right? If we ride, let's say, with 3 true freshmen that's starting on the defensive backfield, or that's going to be part of the rotation, these 3 to 4 guys, right? I'm more confident about the future more than I am so now. So that's my way of thinking. It's to a point now, guys, where I'm ready to ride the ship. If these young guys have the experience, or if they're ready to play, I'm ready to die with these guys. I'm ready to die with these guys, seriously. Cormani McClain is visiting Bama this weekend. Darius, are you trolling? You trolling or are you serious? Because I know you are, Darius. Sometimes you like to. Sometimes, man, you like to, you like to troll a little bit. So I ain't gonna lie, Darius. You trolling? Or are you this breaking news is serious? Let's see. Swim said Darius be capping. Darius got Carmani visiting everybody this weekend. Jeez, man. Well, I'll say that. Listen. Listen. Are we trolling? Are we trolling today? Let's see. We're talking about pizza. We got flirting going on here. What's going on in this chat? Now, just in case, I'm about to check. I'm about to see what the hell's going on here. See, we're capping. We are capping in here. UMass. I don't really kind of care about that. It is what it is. Yeah, private workouts. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, but I'm not saying anything. Come on, see? We got the cap. The cap. Don't let them troll about this thing. Nah, listen, like I said, man. My bad. It was the Woods kid from Arizona State. Now, yeah, I will have to. No, yeah, we all can agree on that, Darius. We all can agree on that, Darius. I ain't gonna say you got the entire chat thinking that you're trolling. But no, I mean, like I said, we all know Ed Woods. We all know he's visiting Alabama this weekend. We'll just see what happens kind of with that. And like I said, I had to just take a look at his game some more. I still am standing with my. I'm still standing firm with that. It's more of a death piece. If he's one of these players, I think you can come in here and think that he's going to start, that he can compete and start the job. He can definitely compete, because I think that it's open season everywhere. But I think, again, he's got to come with that mentality that, yeah, I am coming for this job, right? I'm not going to get handed this job. I am coming and I'm going to try to compete for the job. So we'll kind of see about that. But yeah, if you're talking about that, which, a lot of people are going to doubt that, because, everyone knows that we kind of got that news not that long ago, Ew, y'all like spinach in your pizzas? Jesus. I ain't gonna lie, Moonrocker Dog. I hate spinach. I'm not a big fan of spinach, man. Just give me cheese and pepperoni. Screw all of the other toppings and the pork and the I'm not doing all that in my pizza. One of these freshmen will start right opposite of Damani. Yeah, somebody is. Somebody is right now, guys. Somebody will. Like I said, my prediction so far, I'm not gonna say Jalen Mbakwe yet. But somebody's gonna do it. And like I said, I don't even think Damani is absolutely secure for the job. I don't think that he's perfectly, securing that right outside spot. It's gonna be open season all the way into fall camp, and that's why I can't wait for it. Now we're entering kind of the board. Like I said, unless we can get somebody from that portal again, at this point, I'm looking at a couple of players, and that's really Tarko Fall and that's Holloman. If we don't get anybody crucial from the transfer portal over to Alabama, I don't know. It's open season to a point where, hell, I'm even open to the possibility that we could have two true freshmen start. I'm open to it. Like, why not? Right? It's open season. It's competition. We've seen the transition of some of these players. I mean, our safeties. I mean, Peyton Woodyard had an excellent spring game. Xavier Brown, I thought Xavier Brown was solid. For the most part, you saw what Brett Morgan and Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. was doing. Like, a lot of these young guys were grasping it. They were grasping it, and they were doing it pretty fast. So overall wise, I like the transition of some of our freshmen to potentially come over and compete for that job. Because Damani Jackson, as talented as he is, and I thought he made some really, really good some good things, especially getting better with the communication. He didn't really blow me away in terms of, yeah, that's the dude that's gonna absolutely, that's Terran Arnold, or that's gonna be like Kool-Aid McKinstry. The talent is obviously there, but honestly, like I said, guys, it's open season. It's gonna be open season. I think the real competition is gonna be starting during fall camp. Oh, get this off my screen, please. What's up, Nick Bowling? Kermani isn't a proven defensive back either. Deion Sanders can develop players. Well, you got 39 players that's entered the transfer portal. I understand it. I get it. You got 39 players that's going to be entering the transfer portal. I get it. I completely understand it. Damani and Zabian are my guys right now with Mbakwe and Mincy backing up. I hadn't seen nothing on Hurley in 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys and Antoine, you know how I feel. You know how I feel about Xavier Brown. Xavier Brown, man. How cool would that be, though? You have two kids from modern day. That's going to be your starting corners. That actually would be a cool story. But yeah, Xavier Brown's one of my favorite players from this class. I think he's the guy that can do the job. I think he's kind of one of the more technically advanced guys from a true freshman perspective that's kind of coming in and playing as a boundary. He is a little undersized in terms of his weight, but he has gained some weight in order for him to get kind of bigger and stronger, especially when he's going to be up and jamming. But yeah, I mean, Zay Mincy is that's another name to kind of look out for the future. Jalen Mbakwe is another name to kind of look out for as well, and especially because I like some of the things that he was able to kind of present to the table. It's going to be interesting. At this point, the corner spot, I would say corner spot and edge spot are my two biggest, not concerns, but those are kind of the areas where I'm like, yeah, it's open season. Nobody has claimed the starting spot from both of these from both of those position groups. It can be all out warfare going into fall camp, and we'll see what kind of happens at the beginning of the season. And honestly, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for fall camp. This is the part of college football where I absolutely freaking hate. Do they play at let's see, a year together at Modern Day? So let's see. Damani left in 21. He left in 20. Yeah, he left in 22. Damani left in 22. Right. So 21 was his last year. So Xavier Brown was I want to say Xavier Brown was a true freshman when Damani Jackson was a senior. Yeah, so Damani Jackson was a senior and Xavier Brown was a true freshman. Xavier wasn't starting as a true freshman. He might have not even been there in Mater Dei as a true freshman because you know how Mater Dei does. Mater Dei recruits players. Like Mater Dei, I mean, again, they don't recruit nationally like IMG Academy, and they don't recruit like nowadays like Miami Central, they're doing it. St. Francis Academy from Baltimore, they're doing it. Mater Dei mostly just recruits California. That's what they do. So I don't know if Xavier was even there his freshman season, but no, I don't think they played together because I remember it was Damani Jackson, and it was a kid that went to Nevada that they were playing together opposite of each other. So, but yeah, they both come from the same program. So that's kind of a cool story if that's the case, right? Mater Dei boys. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, Eli Riggs, he came from Mater Dei. Bryce Young came from Mater Dei. Who else came from Mater Dei that we could have gotten? We got a commitment. We got a lot for that. We got the linebacker Davidson. He's from Mater Dei. He's a commitment from that program. Alabama has gotten their fair share of players from that program. Tommy Brown came from Mater Dei. He was a tackle that actually ended up, he actually ended up being a guard, but he came from Mater Dei. Yeah, Alabama's gotten their fair share of kids from that school. We don't need that type of immaturity and negativity. I think you're talking about Kermani. If you're talking about Kermani, then yeah, see, I absolutely agree. And Kermani, he did not handle that situation well. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's not handling the situation well. I mean, yeah, he's talking a lot of trash, man, about Colorado. Boy, he's talking a lot of trash about Colorado. Yeah, Bryce Young came from Mater Dei, of course. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like the amount of players that we could have gotten from, like Brew McCoy almost came to Bama. Brew McCoy, Kyle Ford, he almost came to Bama. Who else? The Raleek Brown, running back, he almost came to Alabama. We had our fair share of kids that almost came to Alabama. Like we almost kind of builded a pipeline in that school. Players commit / because of Deion Sanders' name and they idolize him. Yeah, they commit there, they transfer there solely for Deion Sanders. And to give to Deion Sanders credit, he's building up he's starting to kind of build up a coaching staff. Like you have Warren Sapp on that roster. You're trying to get Ed Reed to be your defensive backs coach. You got Warren Sapp there. You have Marvin Lewis there. Like you have 4 NFL coaches that's there, former head coaches that's there, and then you have Warren Sapp on your. I mean, come on, man. Like you have NFL players there. Who else? You got Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco. He's your receivers coach. So that kind of helps in terms of recruiting and as far as, transfer portal wise. But, it was a similar situation last year, and you had a bunch of players leave last year. And now this year, you have 39 kids leaving despite these coaches still being there on your roster. So I know it's got to be frustrating as hell if you're on that coaching staff. And if you're trying to work with these kids, you're trying to develop a personal relationship with these kids, and you're trying to teach these guys the fundamentals of how to be great. And they're gone, and you have to restart that process all over again with the next kid. So I know it's great in terms of recruiting and in terms of overall improving the brand of the program. But I know it's got to be frustrating as hell that you have to start with these kids for about a year, and you're beginning to see progress, and then they're gone, and then you have to restart over and try to get over with the new kid. Like I know it's got to be frustrating if you're a coach. Oh, no, that's actually a good one. Watch Jordan Seaton transfer after the year. And you know what? We'll be waiting right for him because I'm not going to lie to you guys. The one position that I will not ignore is getting a tackle. I will not ignore getting a tackle, man. I'm not going to ignore getting tackles. Listen, I want linemen. More linemen we can get, the better. And if Jordan Seaton wants to transfer and he wants to come to Alabama as a former 5-star kid at tackle, then I'll take it. But who else? LA actually made a good comment right here. Just because you're a prolific player doesn't mean that you can coach. Obviously, that's a good comment. And like I said, Warren Sapp, this is he's coached before, but he's never coached on this level. Chad Johnson's never coached on this level. Ed Reed has got some experience, right? Ed Reed coached in the NFL, but he's never really coached. Well, he was supposed to do it, being a head coach, and then he obviously they got rid of him before they even went to fall camp. But yeah, that's a good point. Why would Jordan Seaton visit until after the season? Wait until after the season. Yeah, I mean, like I said, now, I mean, he can transfer where the hell he wants to do it, but Jordan Seaton, like I said, I don't know if he's the starter now. Like if he just goes there, if he's going to be the starter. I don't even know if he's enrolled in Colorado now, but obviously he wants that opportunity because of Coach Prime and obviously Brand, and he probably signed a big NIL exclusive deal. Yeah, and Seaton was he was in our top 5. We missed out on him. We barely missed out on him. He decided to go with Colorado because of Coach Prime. Simple as that. Not because of their ability to develop, but he went there because of the brand name image, Coach Prime, and to increase his NIL value. Because here's one thing I'll give Colorado a lot of credit for. If you go to Colorado, your NIL value it increases tenfold. And that's a lot because of the brand name that is Colorado. Like, one thing I'll give their credit for, man, their NIL value, if you go there, it's going to go up. And so, but unfortunately, though, I mean, that's why you're seeing a lot of players and leaving and going back into the portal is simply because they go there, increase their value, and they leave out. So it's a double-edged sword. Deion isn't going to make Colorado relevant again. Well, I will say this: if this is a very important season for Colorado, because if they don't win more than, I would say, 6 or 7 games this year, then they're literally gonna be treated as a joke. And I think that's gonna bring down their entire value. I think that could actually mess up their recruitment, especially if you're not seeing players get better and they're starting to really develop. Now, of course, you have Deion Sanders. He's gonna end up being a first-round pick. You have Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter could end up being a first-round pick next year. So that obviously is going to help Colorado in terms of development. But these kids came from Jackson State. They didn't come straight to Colorado. They came from Jackson State, and they were already some of the best players in the country. They weren't developed at Colorado, so. Again, it's more people that's going to be going into Colorado, not because of the program, not because of the tradition. They're going to be going in for Coach Prime and the brand name and the NIL value that's going to be coming with the name. I don't want Jordan Seaton. Yeah, I can see why. I can see why for sure. But like I said before, guys, if they don't win more than 7 or 8 games, they're a joke. It's just, man. But the Big 12, that conference is so easy. Like, it's 2 things that could happen this year. Number one, Colorado's brand name and their image is going to go so far up, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous because of how weak the conference is, right? There is a possibility they can win more than 9 games this year, seriously. There's also a possibility they can be 5-7 or 6-6 this year. But regardless, Colorado will be number 1 in headlines. They will be the number 1 topic talked about for the first 2 to 3 weeks of game day. They're going to be on national television more times than we can count. You're going to see a lot more Kurt Perstreak, and you're going to see a lot more Chris Fowler covering their games. You're going to see a lot more Joe Klatt and Gus Johnson covering their games, and they're going to draw in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of viewers. And the more games they win, the more college football will talk about it. The more games they lose, the less relevant they become. And Deion Sanders, like I said before, once his sons enter, he might be gone, and he might go and potentially get a coaching job to the NFL. So we'll see. We'll kind of see what happens there. But they're definitely a huge brand name. That's for damn sure. Has Bama offered any more players out of the portal besides Woods? No, not from my hearing. They haven't. Not from my hearing. They haven't done it, and that's what we're still waiting for. There's players that they're interested in, But in terms of our knowledge, I mean, they haven't really offered a lot of players. If anything, a lot of the offers are coming from the basketball side of things. But football wise, you got some player. I mean, really the only visitation is going to be Evan Woods. And honestly, that's. I mean, of course, Caden Proctor, he will be coming to Alabama, so that's technically, if you want to count that. But really, for the most part, guys, we haven't really offered a lot of. We haven't offered. We only offered what 2 or 3 kids, right? We offered Greedy Vance. He actually ended up going to USC, but I don't know. Like maybe clearly Alabama's looking for more secondary help because they offered Greedy and they offered Woods, guys that are going to be playing as Woods could be a safety, but he also can play as a boundary corner. Greedy Vance is a guy that he's more of your husky or rover. He's not a boundary guy. He's more your husky and rover type of position. But they've clearly targeted the secondary. Right, the offensive line. You got Caden Proctor because you have a lot of familiarity with the program. Plus, it's a 5-star, but you haven't targeted any receivers. You haven't targeted any defensive linemen. You haven't targeted any linebackers. You have strictly targeted the secondary. So, during kind of that winter period, we've seen what happened. During like January, February, where they started to kind of go and try to select certain players. But I think as soon as they saw, as soon as they got the evaluation of the players that they kind of got on their roster, including a lot of young guys making more of an impact, I don't think there's not that much for them to target. So they have their pick of the litter. And like I said, guys, we have one more week until the portal is over. I think next Wednesday is when this thing's officially over. But, you would think that, a team that's in desperate need for some depth, that they would go out there and offer more players. But it also could be another situation that they're excited about the rest of the players that's going to be coming in during fall camp, and they like their roster. They like what they see so far. Let's see, Killtech9 with the $10 super with the $20 super chat. He says, "Have y'all discussed the leaked/rumor Super League? If not, what do you think of it? It would be cool to get a segment with everyone discussing it." So Killtech, are you talking about the Big Ten and the SEC Super? Are you talking about that particular league? I want to answer your question. Are you talking about the Big Ten, the SEC attack? I hate that we didn't go after Kobe Bryant, the corner from Kansas. Yeah, not that much interest. Not that much interest in him at all. Nope. No, there was an 80-team super team league last year. Good God, Jesus. I didn't even hear that much about it, but an 80-team freaking super league, I don't know how the hell that's going to work out. I have no idea how that's going to work out, Killtech, if an 80-team freaking Super League was able to be leaked out. Let me actually kind of look up some of the documentation. I'm very kind of curious to see what's going on here. Okay, so that's like one of the first things that kind of popped up. Yeah, so there was a pitch. It was a breakaway plan. Yeah, so I see. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, the 80. So yeah, this is something that if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be during the 16-team playoff bracket. I have no idea how that league will ever work. I have no idea how that league's gonna work. Like, how is that even going to happen? Like, what is scheduling gonna look like? What about conference? Like, are you gonna take away conference games? That's crazy. That's crazy. 8 conferences and 10 teams each. Okay, so that's going to be the breakdown. 8 teams and 10 conferences. So 8 conferences and 10 teams each. Okay, and it's going to be a super league in terms of just, again, it's not going to be based off a region. It's simply just, here are the teams that's going to be thrown into the melting pot, and we'll kind of see what happens. $40-game spring football, 70 permanent members. Yeah, so I'm taking a look at the 8 divisions. Let me take a look at their pitch here with these 8 divisions. So they got the West, Southwest, Plains, Midwest, Northeast, Southwest, and South. So it is regional based. So the South would be Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Southeast would be Clemson, Duke, Florida, Florida State, Miami, and NC State. Now we're gonna have to talk about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this. North Carolina, South Carolina, UCF, and Wake Forest. Northeast would be Boston College, Maryland, Notre Dame, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Rutgers, Syracuse, Virginia, B Tech, and West Virginia. That's crazy. Yeah, Kill Tech, send the link. Send the link if you possibly can. Definitely, because it's interesting. That's a very interesting kind of situation. Yeah, it's looking like the NFL. It's probably looking like the NFL, man. West is yeah. But here's the crazy part. Now, like I'm reading this crap. Here's the crazy part. It's once again the scheduling of your conference because you got games going into February. Like that's the crazy part in terms of this pitch is the championship game is going to be in February, right? Literally a week before the Super Bowl. Like, how is that going to work out? Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting concept. That's for damn sure. But who knows? Maybe it can happen. Maybe it won't happen. But yeah, that's a crazy pitch. That's for damn sure. Yep, definitely hit the like button. Definitely hit the like button for that. That's for sure. Right, like it's dumb. Like you got the Southwest, you got the Southeast, you got Northeast, Northwest, and they even talked about it like here in this article. Like they talked about how, for the most part, I mean, yeah, it's going to be the division, the conference or division with the most dominant, with the best teams or most dominant big brand names. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Now, if they're in a situation, because clearly it's probably going to go to 8 guaranteed teams who wins their conference, and the next 8 teams will be the next at large. So how are they going to do the at large format? I don't know. But honestly, like I said, I'm not going to dismiss it. You take a look at what's going on right now, guys. Like you take a look at what's going on right now. I mean, we're literally about to get a 14-team playoff in 2 years, guys. In 2 years, like they're having conversations now about having a 14-team playoff. That was kind of one of the, like, as soon as the 12 team was announced, what happened? A week later, it was a conversation about the 14-team playoff. And then 3 years from now, 2 to 3 years from now, we may go to a 16-team playoff. Like I'm like college football is changing. And like I said before, guys, college football as we know it, the tradition, the rivalries, the importance of regular season games, the crap doesn't really matter anymore. And so, I mean, this season, I'm telling you, people are going to find out how less important these regular season games are because, I mean, and I'm just throwing hypotheticals. Let's say we lose to Georgia and we lose to Auburn. We go 10-2. We're in the play. We go 10-2. Yes, we lose to Auburn. We lose to Iron Bowl. We lose to Georgia. 2 teams that nobody wants to lose to. Does it really matter though? When you go 10-2, you're in the playoff. You don't. The only difference is that you don't have the bye week. You don't have a bye week. You're not going to be competing, and you're probably not going to win. You're probably not going to compete for an SC championship. Who cares though? You're in the playoff. You're in. And when it's 14 teams and 16 teams, we're definitely not going to care because when you push that thing back, then yeah, 9-3, you're in the playoff. Who cares? So this is where we are right now, guys. This is where we are. Can't lose in no 6-6 Auburn. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't want to lose a 6-6 Auburn, but you lose to 6-6 Auburn, you're in the playoff. Like there's a possibility that, and I'm just throwing it just for the arguments. You could, let's say Auburn goes 4-8, right? Auburn goes 4-8. We lose to Auburn, let's say in Voodoo Land, right? Because everything in Voodoo Land happens. Let's say we lose to a 4-8 Auburn in Voodoo Land. That's your second loss of the year. You're still in the playoff because of the conference that you're in. You're still in the playoff. And if you go on the playoff, let's say you still don't have the first round bye, You go ahead and you win the national championship. You end up being 14-2 because of that crap. Who cares? You're 14-2. You won the national championship. No one's gonna care if you lost to 4-8 Auburn. Maybe Auburn fans could say, "Oh, well, we beat you. We won a national championship. Who cares?" They'll drop us to 25th if Auburn. Let's see if Auburn tries to beat us all. Maybe, but knowing the SEC, how strong the conference brand is. I mean, like I said, the SEC will be the strongest conference in the country, right? Big Ten has Oregon, and that's it. USC will be a dumpster fire. Washington will be a dumpster fire, right? UCLA will not be as good as they were last year. Texas and Oklahoma are going to be teams. They're going to be solid teams. Those are top 25 teams. Worst case scenario. So I mean, there's a possibility you may have 6 or 7 teams that's going to finish the top 25 in the SEC alone. So even if Auburn's going to do that, you still have strength of conference. You have strength of conference. You have strength of schedule. There's a lot more things going for Alabama than any other program, than any other school outside of the SEC. So it's just a lot more. And I'm just throwing that case in. Like, you could lose to Tennessee and lose to somebody else. It doesn't matter who you lose to. You go 10-2, you're in the playoff. We're good to go. We're competing for a national championship. You know, and it's looking more like college basketball than college football. You know, college basketball, we beat Auburn once. We got our ass kicked by Auburn the second time, and Auburn fans couldn't stop. Man, they just couldn't stop when it came to dogging the program, right? They kicked our ass, and they kept dogging us. What happened? We got to the tournament. Auburn lost in the first round? Alabama went on to go to the Final Four. You know, if Alabama would have went on and won a national championship, we would have stunned it on Auburn. Despite them kicking our ass, we would have stunned it on them with the national championship. Nobody wouldn't care. So, just one of those things, ladies and gentlemen, just one of those things where this is kind of where we're at. And honestly, this 80-team, 16-team Super League crap, I wouldn't be surprised at all if something like this was going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Yep, Killtech. I'm gonna let Kyle know. I'm gonna let Kyle know, see if we can share that link, or even we can just talk about it. I think it'll be an interesting talking point. By the time Texas and Oklahoma finish a full season in the SEC, they probably gonna be going for. Yeah, the SEC is it's different. It's different. That's for damn sure. Texas actually has Oklahoma has a gauntlet. Texas actually has an easier schedule. Oklahoma has a gauntlet. My God, they got a gauntlet. They got to play us. They got to play Georgia. They got to play. They got to play Tennessee. They got to play Auburn. They got Texas. Oklahoma's got a gauntlet, man. They do not have an easy road. They got to play Missouri. Not an easy road. But here, this is one thing I'll say. Texas A&M came to the SEC. Texas A&M and Missouri, they came to the SEC. Now Missouri got their ass kicked that season. They went 5-7. But Texas A&M, they won 11-2 and they beat us. So, and then Missouri, the following year, Missouri went to they went to the SEC championship. Matter of fact, they went 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, they went to an SEC championship game. So we can talk all the crap we want, man. But the fact of the matter is that we've seen a lot more teams coming to the SEC, and they've had a lot of success. 12-team playoff will prove, that what we already know. Yep. The other 8 won't really be contenders, exactly. And like I said, it's only going to prove that Alabama is one of the best teams in the country. And whether if we're first, whether if we're fourth, whether if we're 6th, 8th, 10th, or 12th, doesn't matter. As long as we're in that joint, doesn't matter what our record is, we will prove that we are a top 2 to top 3 team in the country, easily. Oklahoma received that transfer in, looked pretty good. Yeah, Dylan Bell, the transfer for Purdue. I actually wanted Dylan Bell too. I like Dylan Bell. I don't know. I think Oklahoma's going to be a good team. I like their offensive line. I think their defensive production is going to get better. I like the receiving talent that's coming in for them, and I like Jackson Arnold. He's a hell of a talent. I think Oklahoma's going to be a good team. I don't know if they're going to be a great team, but I think they're going to be a good team this year. You know what? Speaking of that, one of the key things I want to do, I want to start bringing on some, especially when we get closer to the season. I think one of the things hopefully that we can do is we can start having like our own SEC roundtable. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but an SEC roundtable, especially having other programs like other schools kind of come on and we can kind of do our previews. Of course, we got our own content creators like guys like Chris Griffin, Horns Down Podcast, excellent content creator. You got guys like Fanatic Perspective from Texas, right? I was on his show before. Steven, excellent guy from Texas, excellent. Nino's Corner. So many other great content creators for these different programs. It would be cool to kind of get them on here and we could just kind of have our own kind of talk, like our trash talk, and just have a good show. Right. Because the closest thing, and by the way, because right now the closest thing to an SC roundtable that we have, it's a YouTube channel. It's called the SEC Connect. It's Ty Hayes. Ty Hayes, he's a part of that show, but it's the SEC Connect, and you got Ty Hayes. He's a representative from Bama. You have Chris Griffin from Oklahoma. You have Nino, and you have Fanatic. You have Steven from Fanatic Perspective, right? You got the Texas guys that's on there, but that's kind of the only thing right now. We got the SEC Connect. I know Ty, he'll definitely go more in depth about that show, but yeah, definitely something that I hope that we can do on this channel. We can kind of start up and get going because the NFL does it, right? Like now all of a sudden everybody's doing everybody's doing a roundtable channel with different divisions and different conferences, and I'm like, I don't see anybody from the college football space that's doing it. So I think that would be a great idea, especially if we're the ones to do it, lead it off. Now watch how we do it. Everybody is going to copy our formula. Watch how we do it. Everyone's just gonna copy our formula if we start to doing roundtables and crap like that. But that's just something that we can talk about. That's something that we can maybe discuss. Maybe once we get out of the transfer portal talk, because May and June is going to be a dead period. Alabama going to be the best team in 2024 season. Let's go. I feel you, Kimberly. I feel you. It'd be awesome to get a fan channel person for wherever we were playing. Yeah. Yeah. And it's already been done before. Like I said, Ty Hayes, he does it on his channel. I do it sometimes on my channel as well. But like I said, just do it like on this, like knowing the reach that this channel already has. It'll be great to see if we can get more fans, more fan channels on here, and just overall start having our own debates and topics. It'll be pretty cool. I like glasses from the other channel, but yeah, I know you're talking about tag. I know you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, guys, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that like button, share the video, share the stream, and subscribe. I don't know if Coach Mook is coming on. Hold on. I don't know if he's coming on. I know he's supposed to kind of come on a little bit later. I don't think he's coming on today. I know he's got some technical issues with this Mac. So I think I'll probably be the one to be closing out the show. But I think, yeah, that's going to be happening tomorrow, of course. Of course, tomorrow, same situation, guys. We'll start off with Kyle. And of course, Ty Hayes will jump on. Coach Mook should hopefully get the technical issues, back on, and then he'll be back. And then on Friday, right? Coach Sean, he'll be back. Of course, he's out of town right now with him and the family, so he'll be back Friday. So definitely, like I said, we're gonna show a lot of love when Coach Sean gets back on Friday. I can't wait for that. But yeah, normal schedule should be around tomorrow. And then, like I said, I think we got to do the mock draft. I want to do a mock draft really, really badly with you guys. Just to like have our own mock draft. Just, somebody, sent this link literally here, right around the corner. I don't know if we can do it either Wednesday. Well, no, I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, but Thursday, probably like around that draft time period, we might be able to do. I think that'd be pretty fun. I know there was an earlier segment earlier with Ty Hayes and Kyle, and they were kind of doing like what Bama players they would draft first. If we can just do a similar sort of mock draft sort of position, that'd be pretty dope. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys start to like it. Like I see Killtack, a lot of you guys like the idea. So I think I'm gonna see if we can pitch that idea in, and hopefully we can run that on Thursday. We're not gonna learn to stop buying Macs. Listen, no, I'm Windows. I'm Windows all the way, man. I'm not a Mac guy. I am not a Mac guy, man. I'm a Windows person. I heard Edwards might enter the portal. No, he's already into the portal. Yeah, he's gonna enter the portal, Austin. He's gonna enter the portal. I would like more player showcases, like 5 minute small videos of start. Yeah. Windows constant rebooting. Yeah, it's kind of the part. And it always updates. When it always updates. It updates every freaking day. Every single day, you log on and all of a sudden Windows has an update. What's in the menu for draft day, everyone? I got wings. I'm making wings. I got some ribs. We got wings, ribs. Got some shrimp. Got some good corn on the cob. I'm gonna get, but yeah, I got a lot of food going on, man. Especially if we're gonna have to watch 3 to 4 hours of the NFL draft. Especially right now with the amount of commercials is gonna be coming on. But I got a lot of food coming on. A carnivore diet. You're damn right. Ain't no vegetables in this household. Nothing but meat. No Diddy. No Diddy. I'll be at work. Doesn't mean that you can't eat. Doesn't mean you can that you can't eat though, Chance. Have something have a sandwich. Have a sandwich on the side when you're trying. Have a sandwich on the side when you're at work. When the Bills have a successful draft, I pray and I hope so. I mean, we're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. Everybody wants a receiver, especially that Stephon Diggs is gone. Let me tell you something, man. If we draft an edge rusher, or if we draft some other position that's not receiving the first round, it is going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos. I mean, you're going to see, man. You're going to see, man. Everybody's going to go nuts if we don't draft a receiver. No Diddy, Moonrocker. No Diddy. Oh, there's Auntie Janet. There's Auntie Janet. See, I was looking for Auntie Janet. We got her in here. We got her in here, finally. I see Ephraim in here, too, but how about those Knicks babies? Man, listen, man. Oh, boy, the New York Knicks, man. I wish my Nets could do the exact same situation, man, but nah, shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks, man. The Knicks doing their thing. They're doing their thing 2-0. Now, it's the first round. The 76ers, they're not as deep as they were last year. But, yep, shout out to the New York Knicks. I'll also say this, too. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. The more LeBron lose, the happier that I get, ladies and gentlemen. The happier that I get. I'm tired of LeBron. I need these Nuggets to sweep the Lakers. I need a sweep. I need a clean sweep. Get them out of the first round. Just quit that. Brown about to do the comeback, Nah, we ain't gonna allow that to happen. We ain't gonna allow it to happen, man. We need a sweep. My Lakers blew it. Y'all did blow it. Y'all did blow it. Y'all did blow it. And I think this is one of the biggest issues with LeBron teams. Like LeBron wants certain players, but it kind of comes at a cost at times, right? Like the Lakers, they're not deep. They're just not deep. Like, yes, you got D. Russell. D. Russell's more of a three-point shooter now. Anthony Davis, we all know he's pretty much focused on the low block. He's one of the best kind of defenders and one of the best big men in the league. You have LeBron. He's playing more of a point forward role. But other than that, like you don't have a Dennis Schroeder. You don't have an Alex Caruso on your team. Like, I mean, they're not deep. Like Roy Hachimura, he is stinking it. Like Rui, like Hachimura, he is stinking it up. Prince is garbage. Like the Lakers are not deep, but I think this is what costing them. Like, yes, you have D'Lo and you have LeBron and you have AD, they can light it up, but if your team is not deep enough, If you don't have the depth, I mean, that's one thing that the Nuggets got. They have depth, and they can kill you. They have a better starting five than LA's starting five. They have a better bench than LA's bench, and you saw what happens, man. I mean, the fourth quarter came. I mean, this is kind of the second game in a row where the Nuggets have kind of destroyed the Lakers in the fourth quarter. No point guard, no true big man, no shooters. Exactly. They don't have anybody that they have nobody that can play the five. They have nobody that can be the true point besides LeBron, because you got LeBron that's doing point forward and he's doing point guard duties. And their best shooter on the team is D'Angelo Russell. This is what's his name can shoot. I mean, like I said, I mean, you got D'Lo. I mean, you got Prince. I mean, Prince can shoot. I mean, Hamuchi Moda is not really. He's more of a mid-range shooter. Prince can shoot. I mean, Vanderbilt's a defensive player. I don't think he's that much of a shooter. I don't know. I don't think they really have the shooters. I think the Ravens gonna draft an offensive tackle first round, number 30. Oh, let me tell you something. Kimberly, if they draft Patrick Paul or Kingsley Swamata, because I think Latham's off the board, Mims is off the board, Wega's off the board, Utano's off the board, Ushanu and Joe Alt are off the board. So at that point, now you're in your second tier, and that's Kingsley Swamata, Patrick Paul, and maybe Tyler Guyton. Like if they draft Tyler Guyton, Marius Mims, or Kingsley Swamata, or oh boy, it's about to be a man. I don't know. They might go receiver. Like I could see as Xavier Worthy going there, or maybe they trade up to get somebody. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll take a tackle. I know a lot of Ravens fans, they'll be pissed off if they take an offensive tackle. Kill Tech 9 gifted 10 Bama membership. Shout out to Kill Tech 9 with a 10 gifted membership. Miami Dolphins need a tackle and they need a guard. Yeah, they do. They do. They do. They need a left tackle and they need a guard. They need a left tackle and they need a guard. They do. I don't know if they're going to get a guard in the first round, but there's also a rumor that they're looking for a receiver. Because Jalen Waddle might not be there next year, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think they have enough capital to pay Jalen Waddle, because if Chase gets paid and CeeDee Lamb gets paid before Waddle, I mean, Waddle's going to be looking for $30 million a year. And I don't know if the Miami Dolphins can afford that, especially when you got to pay Tua. Haven't paid Tua yet. You got to pay Jalen Phillips. You got to pay Javon Holland. At some point, like, you got to start paying some of these players, and I don't know if they can afford to pay Jalen Waddle when they can maybe take somebody else that's speedster. Commanders need everything. They do. JJ McCarthy, he may go number 2. Not the biggest fan of JJ McCarthy, but a lot of these teams like him. The Commanders keep bringing JJ McCarthy in private workouts. He actually might go number 2 to the Washington Commanders. And if he goes number 2 to the Washington Commanders, good luck if you're a Commanders fan. Good luck. Tyreek will be gone next year. Free up a lot of cap for the Dolphins. He could leave. He could retire. I don't know if his contract's up. I think that's the thing. I don't know if Tyreek's contract is up because he signed that extension. And he said after the extension he's gone. So Tyreek, that's 2 more years. Again, they could cut him, but you also got dead cap. Like if you cut him, that's like you're losing $30 million in cap in dead cap if you cut him next year. So I mean, unless he retires. I mean, he's got the guaranteed money, so unless he retires or something, or you restructure or work out that contract, you probably gonna be stuck with him. Steelers need to pay Najee Harris first. I don't know if they're gonna be paying Najee Harris, and I think it's because of his yards per carry production has not been good. Like he's averaged less than 4 yards per carry during his career. And especially like in this market, running backs are just not getting paid unless you're like top of the dollar running back. Any word on Bama going after Kermani? No, we haven't offered Kermani yet. So far, you got Auburn, Georgia, Oregon. You have Oklahoma, Texas. They've gone after Kermani. We haven't even offered Kermani yet. Let's see. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions. Yeah. Besides that, though, no, we're good. Besides that, I think we're good, though. I think we're good for the most part. I'm just trying to check to see if other news, other updates, or other stuff that maybe I need to know. I'm just trying to think here. No, I think we're good. I think we're good, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna close the show. Well, I'm not gonna close the show down. I think what I'll do is I might remove. No, I'll probably close it down. They want me to close it down. I'm just taking a look at it. But guys, I'm gonna close on the show. Coach Mook is not gonna be here tonight. He'll be back tomorrow. Of course, he's dealing with technical difficulties. So yeah, regular program tomorrow. I probably won't be here because I got class around the same time. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I might take off or something. I don't know. But regular program scheduling. So definitely make sure to kind of check in. Kyle Henderson, he goes on first. Ty Hayes will, of course, him and Ty will share that segment, and there'll be Ty, and then you know how it works. You know how the rotation works at this point. But guys, I will definitely catch you guys later. Thursday, I think we're gonna be doing the mock draft. I'm gonna pitch it in so we can do like a live mock draft. I think it'll be fun, something that we all can do. But yeah, until then, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Jansport, Jan76. Of course, all my handles will be below. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. So let me do this real quick. I'm gonna make sure we get it right. Spin on Ladoon.